This is the main quest introduced in the Winter Update 2022, the Cradle of Monsters. The rewards from this quest is access to Ingol, a new island with the majority of new monsters of the update, with spawns that are looking to be a replacement or alternative to Isabi's surface, as well as a new mount and access to a boss that drops the new mid-tier items. In terms of level requirement, it's hard to say. I will guess a team over 500 can do it together, and a level 800 or so can solo most of it. The final boss, in terms of difficulty, is doable by a party of 500s, maybe even less than that. The difficult part will be getting to that point. Now let's start with the requirements. You will need 1 mushroom pie, obtained easily through Warzone 1, 10 pieces of bug meat dropped by the ore clubs, and 1 spoon that can be bought in Menor. Lastly, you need access to the Cradle's depot for one of the last missions. To start this, head to Kormaya and take the teleport in the middle of it. Say hi, passes yes to Ispara, and then once back in Kormaya, head northeast to a new boat by the coast and ask for a passage to Haghorst. The surface of Ingol already has a high density of monsters with a similar difficulty to those of Isabi monsters. You can run through most of it since it is an open area, but be careful with getting trapped. For now, you need to head to the main building located to the east. Once there, go downstairs and ask Vasco for a mission. He will ask for the mushroom pie and the bug meats, then he grants you access to the door south of him. This task can be done with 1 to 5 people. I was able to do it solo, but that might have been possible due to having cut speed, so at least you should try to do it with 2 people. The reason for that is that while you are inside the room, your charges of electricity will be going up. The moment you reach 40, you get kicked from the room, and in order to release your charges, you need to step on the decharger near the teleport. Besides that, in this room there will be dangerous apparatus, a negative and positive spark, along with a strange machine by the northwest. Your goal is to turn the apparatus in the direction that leaks the electricity towards the machine. For this, you lure the negative spark next to it, and it will make them turn to the opposite side of the spark. You want to have the pointy side in the desired direction, which in the end will look like this. I recommend to start by the machine and follow the path backwards while turning the apparatus. In the case you have 2 people, then one of them can tank the negative spark afterwards in order to stop it from hitting the apparatus again, and then the other should go northeast and bring out the positive spark and attack it next to the first apparatus. If the pathing is correct, you will see a message in the middle of the room saying when the machine is getting charged, and it needs a few hits to get to full. In the case you attempt this solo, then lure the negative spark southwest and trap it with the door and magic walls. Without a target, it will stay around there. Once you are done with the machine, you get teleported shortly after. Now go down to the next floor and ask Avan for a mission. For this one, you need to kill 100 reindeers. You can find them in the surface or inside the dungeons in each of the floors of the building. If you're solo, then the kill will only count if you do most of the damage, but if you are in a party, it will count towards everyone as long as shared experience is activated and working. Once you're done with the kills, report the mission to Avan, and now you will be able to go through the door south of him. For this one, I'm not sure how it works for parties. It might count towards everyone inside the room, but regardless, it can be done solo since there is no creatures to kill. The goal of this mission is to turn 11 slimes into the same color. By using the levers, you activate a beam in that direction that hits the slimes, and then they will switch to the next color when hit, going from black to yellow to blue to purple to green to red and reset. It doesn't matter which color you choose as long as you make 11 of them match up. When doing this, I recommend to count the ones with a different color than what you are trying to get, and when you have 5 of a different color, then go north and pull the lever, since the task will not be completed automatically when reaching 11. Additionally, for those interested in achievements, if you turn all 16 into the same color, then you get an achievement for it, but good luck with that. Also, when using the levers, you must be directly in front of it or else the beam won't go off. And keep in mind that you have a time limit of 15 minutes to do this. Once you succeed, then you can go to the next floor. Ask Caldera for a mission, and this time you need to go to different spots in the dungeon of this floor. But first, go to the first floor to grab a blank paper. You will get 1 on each floor. Get 3 blank papers and then grab an inkwell from the desk near Aleta. With this, you are ready to go. First, you need to make copies of the 3 research notes located in these rooms. Depending on your levels, I recommend to run to do this faster, but killing your way in as a party is recommended as well. If you're solo, then when running, you can use magic walls in the entrance of the rooms to stop monsters from coming in and possibly trapping you. Once in the room, use the inkwell on the blank paper while standing in front of the research node. Do this in the 3 rooms, but also when you are by the second room in the northwest, head south of it to find a tree stump. Click on it to receive a book with transcripts. Now head back to the building and this time go out to the south side of the dungeon and click on the rubbish by the west side to find the research records. Now bring the 5 items to Aleta to complete your mission. After that, you are able to go through the door on the east to the next task. This one is highly recommended to do it with at least another person. For this one, you need to get the counter of the tubes on the north side to 50. The trick is that they will have different speeds for getting charges. So the first thing you need to do is to identify which one is going up the fastest and then focus on the other two, as you can manually get their charges up by moving a bucket with its respective color next to it. These buckets spawn directly south of each machine, and also when killing a lab assistant they drop one at random. Now the goal is to kill the assistants close to the tubes to make it easier to push them, but since it is random, sometimes you might still want to push the buckets from the south. Keep in mind that this is not recommended for the green color, since the collection container by the middle destroys the bucket, so pushing the green takes much longer compared to the ones to the sides that can be pushed in a straight line. Also, the buckets taken from the south will self-destruct faster than the ones dropped by the assistants. Additionally, you don't want to be feeding colors into the tubes non-stop, because the main concept is that they must be close to each other's charges. If one of them is too far apart from the others, then the charges of the middle container goes up faster, and when that one reaches 100, you fail the task. So even though the idea is simple, the execution can be hard and it does have some luck to it, especially if you try to do this solo. I was able to do it on the test server by resetting the cooldown and restarting the task multiple times until I will get one of the tubes on the side with the fastest speed. Then I could focus on the opposite side and the green in the middle. This wasn't easy, but it is doable. Also, it requires at least a decent level to kill the assistants on time. But once all 3 tubes collect 50 charges, then you will succeed and get teleported out shortly after. Now go downstairs, and the NPC for the next mission is towards the dead end for this dungeon floor. Go out throughout the northwest and then follow this path to find Ibora. Ask her for a mission and she gives you a letter to deliver to her sister located in Cradle. Go back and then to Cradle, and this NPC is located southwest of the depot. Say hi, Ibora, and then after that go back to Ingol and report the mission to her. Now you will be able to access the task of this floor, for which is necessary to have one more person. I tried doing it solo, but it's close to impossible. For this task you need to help the hazard golem reach out the end of the path, in which there will be 4 types of obstacles: energy fields, fire fields, blades, and ice barricades. On the west side of the room, there will be a table with 4 items and levers. The steel shield turns the golem immune to the energy fields. The boots makes him walk faster. The fire portal makes him cast a fire attack that destroys the ice barricades but also hits the golem in the process. And lastly, the water makes him throw water to turn off the fire fields. As for the blaze, there are tiles next to the blaze that when a player stands on it, the blaze will be turned off. So for this, you will have one player standing on those tiles and also communicating to the other which lever to pull. Keep in mind that first of all, you need to summon the golem, for which you need to kill the guardian golem that spawns in the northwest corner, and then throw the golem parts in the trapdoor by the levers. Doing this 3 times summons a golem inside the path, and it is completely normal for the golems to die a few times. When that happens, just make a new one. However, keep in mind that this task, just like the others, has a time limit of 15 minutes. Once the golem reaches the machine in the center, you complete the task. Next up, go to the last floor and find Godfrey and ask for a mission. He wants 5 flasks with anti-mutagen, and to make each flask, you need ingredients that are found throughout the dungeons and the building itself. First of all, find the empty flasks on any of the floors, and they seem to have a shared cooldown for picking them up. I recommend to try and be clicking on them in advance as you do the other missions, but I'm not sure if that's possible. Regardless, once you have at least one, then you can start. First, head to the 4th floor and go into the dungeon to these spots, where you find Hydra corms in the ground, and clicking on them gives you a fresh Hydra herb. These have a respawn timer, but don't share a cooldown with each other, so you can pick up multiple in one run, but only 5 of them are needed. Next up, head to the 5th floor and open the crate by the northeast to get an egg cracker. Then take the exit to the dungeon from the east side and go here to find some eggs. Use the egg cracker on it and then the spoon to collect a bottle of gel. Go back and now into the 4th floor and use the empty flask on this container to get a nutrient solution. Now with these 3 items, go to the last floor and use all 3 on the cauldron near Joffrey to get 1 flask with anti-mutagens. Now you have to repeat the process again, except for the higher herbs, which you should have 4 of them. And the reason you can't prepare the others in advance is that the yolks last for a limited time, and so does the nutrient solution. However, if you have 2 or 3 empty flasks, then you can make multiples in one go by collecting more yolks in the other parts of the dungeon. And once you have all 5, then use them in the conservation jars spread across the 5th floor. Then report your mission, and now you will have access to the final boss. At first, you will encounter the Dr. Marrow, which heals a lot and doesn't take damage as long the antennas in the middle are alive. Kill those first, and then it's recommended to trap the Doctor by the portal and then stand on top of a firebomb. The reason for this is that this mini-boss casts fear, and that makes you run away from him unless you are on top of a bomb. Keep in mind that he also casts Root, which holds you still for 4 seconds. Now, in terms of damage, this mini-boss does combos of 3 to 4k damage at a time quite often, mainly of earth and physical, with a bit of light drain and energy. As a shooter, as long as he's trapped, the only damage you take is from around 25% reflection of your attacks. Continue to attack the boss until he is around 2/3 of HP, and then he goes away and the monster gets released. The monster will have a charge counter on him that makes him take less damage the higher it is, and it also goes up over time. However, there is alchemistical containers across the room. When you destroy one of those, it drops an orange fluid in front of it. Walking the boss over that will reduce 1 charge. These fluids can be moved and they disappear after a few seconds, so it is a bit difficult to walk the boss over them. You need to constantly throw magic walls or 3 walls to make him walk in the direction of the fluid, but since he destroys the walls almost instantly, it will still be annoying. Regardless, continue to walk him around the room, removing the charges in between, and when he's around 10, he starts to take decent amount of damage, so you can attack him as you continue to lower his charges. The lower they are, the more damage he takes, thus eventually he dies as you are doing this. It took us as a duo of level 1k, EK and 900 druid 8 minutes to do it, so I will expect it to be much easier with a full team. I don't think it is going to be a soloable boss, since the Dr. Marrow heals a lot and quite often. I don't see a solo getting past that part, but that might change in the future if people find more creative ways to do this boss. For now, that's all I know for this boss and quest. Once you kill the boss, report to Godfrey and you receive the mutated abomination mount, which can be customized. Additionally, to my knowledge, this is the boss that drops the new items, with a few of them being somewhat useful. Keep in mind, they are nowhere the best in the slot items, but are rather alternative options to other item pieces. With that said, that's all I got for this quest guide. If you find it helpful, consider subscribing or donating TCs to Gudii donation. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to the supporters of the channel, Tuna Hero, Dwarf the Slasher, and Night Star.